Hey guys and gals, Jack here, rounding out Miyagi mornings for the week with episode 30 on a Friday, and we're going to kind of continue with a theme that we've hit on a few times this week, which is accomplishing things, getting things done. In this case, buying land, and dealing with this mental attitude that honestly, people that are this mired in it. I'm encouraged that you follow me. I really am. Because like the comment that I'm actually commenting on today didn't come from YouTube. It came to my podcast, which is a much bigger audience. But in general, I get a lot less of this out of my podcast audience than my YouTube audience. My YouTube channel is so varied and goes into so many things with permaculture and homesteading and stuff like that I have people that follow me on YouTube that have no idea what I'm really all about until they find out. Then they shriek. But I did an episode yesterday about a little bit about what went on with the Capitol, but how it's not really that. It's just how that's accelerating all these other reasons that I've been telling people to get out of the damn cities and get onto a decent little piece of land. And again, I'm not talking about thousands of acres here. What I said yesterday is if it lays right, an acre is plenty for most people, especially if you're strategic with where and who your neighbors are and things like that. And I got another one of these people, not as bad as the one that made me flip out on you and drop elbows on your head on Monday, but basically saying that it might as well, owning land for him may as well not even exist because it's so far out of reach because of ridiculous prices. So what I'm talking about today is how to get on a piece of land that you can own or at least control. And the first thing you have to do, and I know I say this so often, but it's because it's true, and I can't make it untrue for you, okay? You have to change your thinking first. This is not some pie-in-the-sky bullshit, positive, everyone loves me, and I'm going to have $1 million, so $1 million will just show up, right? The power of positive thinking is limited. It absolutely is. It can only do so much for you, but it's what leads to your actions. But let me tell you something about the power of negative thinking. It's fucking unlimited. The power of negative thinking has no fucking limit. None. You can completely destroy your life to oblivion with negative thinking. There's no limits to how far it can fuck you in your life. None. Zero. And until you understand that, you'll be willing to let yourself keep doing it because it's like a fucking drug, right? When you think negatively about something that you'd want to do, I can't do that because fill in the fucking blank with whatever you want, okay? No matter what it is. If you think that way, as bad as it is, again, it's like using a hard drug. It makes you feel better. To where you actually become addicted to it, and the way you deal with the pain of not having what you want is to take another drug, which is, there's no way I can do that. And once you become addicted to it, it is very difficult to break the addiction. And the danger is that, have you ever heard of a functional addict? There's people who basically ruin their lives because their potential is way, way high, and where they realize their life is very, very low. But it's that low is high enough to fit in with the bottom to the middle of society. And they can live their whole life with drugs taking their money and their ambition and their health, and maybe they die 10 years earlier or something like that, but basically they look functional. I don't want to take the drugs away, but I don't think they should be using them. This is what often happens to people with negative thinking. They're okay, but then they're infinitely limited. So how do you get on a piece of land? You start by turning the damn mental computer on and putting good code instead of shitty code into your head. Got it? Good code versus shitty code. Most of you, especially that have this, well, I'll never be able, you're writing shitty code. Any computer programmer would tell you garbage in, what? Garbage out. You're putting garbage into your computer. You are the programmer of this brain in your head. It is a computer. It is a self-learning computer. And every time you say some stupid shit like, it might as well not even exist, you're telling your brain, I want you to make sure that I can't do this. I want you to make sure that I come up with an excuse or something to sabotage myself every time I get close to it. And guess what? Those of you with this mindset, I could literally give you a suitcase with $50,000 in cash in it, come back in 2 years, and your life will suck worse than it does right now because of shitty programming. I'll give you more power to fuck your life up with. So the way you approach this is, first of all, most of you people saying this, I always ask, what have you done? What have you done to get yourself onto a piece of land? And it doesn't have to be land. It could be anything, right? What have you done to get this thing that you say you can't have? And no matter what kind of bullshit comes out, the real answer is not much or absolutely nothing. With land, I would start with, do you know where you want to live? Because a lot of you are like, their land prices are ridiculous. Well, why? Because where are you looking? If land is really, really expensive in a place, right now, most of those places are places you probably shouldn't be anyway for the long-term health of your life. So go somewhere else. Sometimes 30 miles drops the price per acre by 50%. So where do you want to live? And I had a question about that today. What state should I move to? Is a blue or a red area of Virginia good enough, or I really need to move to a place like Tennessee? I don't know. I can't tell you what state is right for you anymore, and I can tell you what flavor of ice cream you're going to like best. You have to figure it out. So you start running an analysis, right? This will turn the computer on. You start running positive programming. Where can I afford to buy land? How can I get more money? What can I do to finance land other than beg a bank for money? How can I get a piece of land where the bank's dumb enough to give me the money? I probably can't really responsibly afford this, but if I do these things with the land, now it can pay for itself. And you just keep going. But no, isn't it easier to just be like, I can never do it, it's not fair, blah, 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 frickin' blah. And I'll tell you the truth. I had intended to do this episode a little more low-key like I did one of the other episodes this week. I really did. Because I feel for the person asking the question. I do. But as I started doing this, I realized it won't work to be passive with you at this point when you've reached this level. You need a fucking intervention, just like a drug addict, if this is you. You can't be this way and ever get shit in your life. And for some of you, the reason I get this way, I want success for you more than you fucking want success for yourself. Isn't that crazy? Some dude that has it made according to you, some dude that's rich according to you, don't even know what rich is in your freaking mind, wants you to succeed. It's more important to me that you succeed than it is to you that you succeed. And you know why? Because in this 8 minutes that I've been on the air with you right now, I've already done more work for you than you've done for you in getting your mind in the right place to figure shit out, because you haven't even asked these questions yet. And for those that are, thinking, man, he ain't talking about me because good. I bet you can still learn from it. Because we all do it. I do it. As motivated as I am, as successful as I am, I do it. I'm like, wow, I would. And as soon as I hear myself say, I really would, and don't even get the wish out. As soon as, stop that. I've trained myself as a programmer. You're writing shitty code, Jack. So let's be honest now. Do you really want this thing? And are you willing to give up the other things necessary to have it? Or is it just one of those things like, yeah, if somebody gave me $50 million, I'd go get this too? Because then it makes me go, okay, well, if I really want it, how can I have it? And then when I get that plan, I go, okay, is it worth it? But I don't ever sit there and say, well, I'll never have it. Because I know. I absolutely know. There's things I'm not sure about, guys. There's things I'm doing my best with. Plenty of times I say, I think. But I know. I absolutely know. While the power of positive thinking has limits, the power of negative thinking is limitless. Don't let it limit you. Catch yourself every time you say something like, it would be nice if, I wish I could, I will never be, stop, mid-sentence, and use the command line programming in your mind. I didn't mean that. That is the wrong way to think about this. That's code. Every thought Every word, spoken, thought, or written, is code into your computer. Be mindful of that. Be careful. Quit writing shitty code. And change it to, every time you think, I wish I could fill in the blank, change it to, how can I fill in the blank? It doesn't mean that everything you come up with you'll have, but you'll change your thinking. And I'm sick and tired of people telling me, oh, it's easy to say that now because you're successful. One more time. You have to change your thoughts first. It's very hard to accept, and it's very hard to believe, and it leads to a personal gut check of realizing that a lot of your misery, even if some of it's not your fault, much of it is. It sucks. It's like a drug addict hitting rock bottom. But what does that drug addict have to do? They have to decide if they want to live or they want to die, or they want to continue destroying their life. Do they want to keep saying, I don't have a problem? Or do they want to change their life? It's absolutely no different. And remember that. Final words to you. The power of negative thinking is unlimited. The only thing that limits it is your choice not to use it. With that, hope you guys enjoyed this week. I'll be back next week with more Miyagi Mornings. Remember, you can catch the entire week in a recap episode on Saturday mornings.